section here.
Kana re mo kae today? Mo Davidton. Dumelang batho ba Davidton. Le kae? Sorry, I have to ask because last week they had me going down to PE. Then you want to date, they say take you down to over there. So I always have to check. Gore kana re ko kae? So do forgive me. My name is Marang. I am a business consultant for for a short term for it. When people ask me what I do, I say I assist entrepreneurs to buy back their time and sanity, right? And I do that by automating your business processes. That's what I do. So note that I have highlighted the value I provide first before I told you how I do it, right? And I think that's the key thing when we do something like a business model canvas is understanding first the value you provide to your customers and then telling them what you do. But a lot of us, and I heard it in the introductions today, what do you my name is so-and-so, I provide plumbing. But you haven't told me the value that you create for me as a customer. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But before we start, how many of you have done a business model canvas before? Just by show of hands. How many of you have written your business plan and like from beginning to end? Page 2. Beginning to end, ne? So if you've done a business model, if you've done a business plan, but you haven't done a business model canvas before, you will see that your business model canvas will fit into your business plan. If you've done a business model canvas before, but you've never done your business plan, you will be able to take the information from this to then expand it when you're developing your business plan, right? So that's the differentiation between the two. So what it is, a business model canvas, it's a tool that people use to plan out a new business or a new product. What I mean is, you've got a business idea and you're thinking, how is this going to work out? Who's going to be buying my my product or service? How am I going to deliver it to my customers? How am I going to make money? So that's what the tool allows you to do. Right? So and when you do a business plan, you'll be doing all sorts of research and bringing it into your business plan. Same thing with a business model canvas tool, you're doing it. As you've been operating as a business, so let's say you've been operating for 5 years and you start thinking, oh, let me introduce a new product or a new service into my business, you can go back to a business model canvas, see how it's going to make money, and then decide whether or not you want to actually incorporate this into your business. It is a tool that is used internationally. I won't even say South Africa, but internationally people use this. It's a tool that is used quite effectively, especially with startup ideas, to then translate it into a business, and then over time, you'll keep refining it. So it's not a document that you do once in your life. You keep having to refine it. You keep having to update it because your business doesn't die off. Just once you've created that document, you keep having to update because things change. Some of the benefits of doing this is that, one, you are able to interrogate your business idea. So I've got an idea, how will it work? You start thinking it out loud, you start putting it into paper, and you start seeing, oh, it can become a business, right? Sometimes we're stuck on the idea, and all you've got is, and it just sticks as but you haven't thought about how, and all of these kind of things. You're just stuck on that one phrase. But I honestly believe, and with a lot of things, I'll repeat it, that if you document the stuff that you're working on, you start creating space for new ideas to come adding on to what you've been already thinking about. When you do this, you also start closing the gaps. So when you realize, oh no, but I don't have the machine to do the things that I want to do, you are then forced to go look and see what resources do I need and where do I find this machine and how do I get it, and then start using it into my business. So it allows you to close the gaps. When you speak to potential investors, you are able to say, this is what I'm selling. This is my customer base that I'm selling to. This is how much revenues we've been able to bring in with this particular type of customers. And now we need an additional investment of X amount in order for us to grow. And this is what it would allow us to do. When you're recruiting people, you are able to tell them, this is the business that we run, this is how we run the business, and this is what I need you to do, this is your role in this business. Not hiring somebody just because they're available and, hey, utla bona re wetsang ka mo, utla ba busy ka something. But when you start explaining to people what your business model is, it's easier for them to invest in you, it's easier for them to come and buy from you, it's easier for them to come and work with you, whether as a partnership or as actually working for you as a member of the team. So how do we go about doing this? You've been given a paper, A4. It's got some details as to what we'll be talking about through here. But you've also been given a big piece of paper that has the very same thing that you see on the screen here. So I'm happy for you to write your notes about your own business so that you start working on your model. And then later on, when we start actually giving you time to work on it, we can then help you add to it, or you'll have questions and we can come and help you answer. But the business model canvas is made up of 9 building blocks. On one side that I've highlighted red is all about the value that you're creating for your customers, how you interact with that customer, where they buy, access your product and service, and the money that it is bringing in. That is what we call the market side of the business model canvas. The other side of it speaks about how you are going to deliver this value. So what activities you need to do in the business, what resources you have, what partnerships you have in order for you to deliver this value to the business, to the customer, and that's the business side of things. And to kick us off, we're going to talk about actually creating the value, right? The question around, getting funding. A lot of times we've got this business idea and you're just like, but I don't even have money to start this business. This is where the creativity needs to come in, because the reality is, if you don't have customers, even if you were given funding, your business could not grow. Right? So and if you're struggling to find the customers, what you need to go back to do is refine the value that you're creating to the customer, find out how you are marketing this value to them so that they understand it, so that the customer comes. The very first customer that comes in, try and figure out, how did you even get here? How did you find out about me as a business? What value were you looking for out of our business? What sold for you? Then you can repeat that marketing to the rest of the world, so that more of that type of customer keeps coming to you. And you make sure that you use that money to fund the next finding of the next customer, being the marketing or making better products and services. So when we look at creating value, there's 2 aspects to it. On one side is the customer profile, and then the other side is the value map. When people come and buy from you, they want to solve a pain that they're experiencing, so something that is uncomfortable or inconvenient for them, that's what they want to solve for, right? And it could be even a physical pain that they're experiencing. But they also want to gain value. They want to gain value. They want to feel good about it. They want to know that, I've achieved something by actually buying this product or service. But they also want to accomplish a task. So for argument's sake, I've used PowerPoint here. PowerPoint is solving a pain for me because I need to show you the things that I'm talking about and put them in pictures. PowerPoint has done that job for me, right? So that's what we mean by a job. In order for you to find those customers, you got to see that your product is solving a pain for them, is helping them gain value, or it's doing a task for them. And those are the things that you communicate. So you look on the value side of it, it says there's pain relievers, there's gain creators, and then there's products and services. If you draw a link between the two, then you will find the customers. So what are you offering that they want? Are you offering convenience? Are you offering value for money in the sense, and I'm not saying cheap, ne? I'm not saying you're the cheapest in the market, but are you offering value for money? So for somebody who is looking for the cheapest in it, it's because they want the maximum value for money out of this thing. Very different from somebody who's doing it for the glorification and the aesthetic side of it. So if I'm buying a Gucci shirt, like my value for money experience there is what you're seeing and what people think of me. versus if I'm buying my t-shirt from Mr. Price. I want that quality to last a little bit longer than the 40 rands that I spent on it, right? So it's not because I'm being a penny pincher, it's that what I want are two different things from it. So the more you learn about what your customer wants and wants to gain from it, the easier it is to sell. Those of you that want to be selling to corporate, and you're like, yo, one day if I work with that corporate, start looking also at things like tax incentives that corporates get. Because when you speak to them at procurement, they want to hear about how you're going to save them money. When you speak to them at marketing, they want to hear about how glamorous you're going to make their corporate feel against their customers. So you see, there's two people in one corporate, but they've got different agendas. So when you're speaking to the marketing person, we're going to make you look great with your customers and things like that. But when we get to procurement, you want to highlight that by working with me as a 100% black-owned business, you're going to have a tax incentive of 135% for every percentage that you spend on me. That is saving them money. It makes you attractive to now work with because you're going to make us look good with customers, but you're also thinking about the corporate incentives of working with you. Whatever you understand about your customers, use that to communicate to other customers. So use that in your marketing. So if I've said, sorry, we're going to go back to the guy that was offering the accommodation services on the app there, right? A lot of the times the catch will also be on one side, you've got people that have got the supply of rooms that are available. But on the other side, there is that demand from people that are looking for rooms. Some of the problems that exist between the two sides is that I don't have people that I know for sure can afford to pay the room. So if you're offering to do credit checks on these people that need the rooms, if you're offering to verify their identification and all of those things, then you are saying to me, I am bringing you a qualified tenant for your room. You've taken away the stress of, are they even reliable? Are they secure or anything like that? If I have a problem, I can go back to you, you can evict this person, and then we're done. That's the kind of value that a person is going to look for. That's the stuff you need to be communicating, not register here so that your rooms can be found. Speak to the other additional values that can be brought up. Are we on the same page? Okay, right. So, I've spoken a lot around the value proposition. Once you understand that, that's the value you speak of. So whenever you're asked about your value proposition, the question, what you're really being asked is, what value do you provide to your customers? When you have a clear view of your customers, you can then start to segment them. So put them in groups. Is it individuals? Are you working with corporates? If it's just individuals, is it only women? Is it women that are single moms? Is it women that are a particular weight category because this is, the product is geared towards them? Is it men? Is it married couples? So start looking deeper into the profile of that customer. The more you understand about the customer, the easier it is to market them, right? Example, you're making cakes. You bake birthday cakes. This year, you did it for the first birthday, right? Hooray! You record that person's birthday date. Next year, towards that person's birthday date, hey, ma'am, last year you ordered a cake from us. This year, would you like us to do the same thing for you? Because you've kept track of that customer. You know that this year, ngwana twara too. So you are coming back with them. Hey, by any chance, is there anyone else in your family that's also having any birthdays? Baby shower? I also do cakes for baby showers. Anybody getting married in your family, I also do that. If somebody's graduating, please let me know. So you start asking, what else is going on in your family that I can perhaps supply cake for? Right? When is your anniversary? Just by the way. And then you start delivering a little birthday anniversary cupcake. But the point is you're going to stay top of mind for that customer, and you will be top of mind for them because then they can do the referrals for you. But you are showing an interest in getting to know your customers and their pain points, right? That is a very different customer profile from somebody who's doing corporate and is doing cakes because somebody in the office has gotten a promotion. But you want to keep track of that information as well. So when do promotions happen? What else do you do that is celebratory? Do you know that I also make sausages and other stuff, not just cakes? So I can do your whole catering thing and provide you with breakfast. Do you have team meetings that happen on a monthly basis? Can I supply for that? Could stem from one customer. Or because she's a corporate, she works here, she's got children, she's got family members, right? But you're starting to segment them. You're starting to see what it is that they need, and you're starting to keep track of them. So that thing on customer relationships, it's important for you to understand where your customers are at and where they're developing to, so that you can either keep track of them, to resell to them, or find out who else is in their network that you can then sell to. Those relationships, you can maintain them by sending newsletters. You can maintain them by sending WhatsApp messages. You give them options of how they want to engage with you or how they want to keep receiving information from you. Then we speak of channels. Channels is how do I find your product or service? Is it through a website? Is it through a pop-up store? Do I have a physical store in a mall that you can go find? Do you find me next to the taxi rank? All of these things are all channels, right? Do you do public speaking? Do you run workshops? Those are all channels for people to experience your products and services. And those of you that are struggling to get to your customer, and maybe because I provide a very soft service, it's very invisible. So it's very difficult to tell somebody that if we do this in your business and put in this system, this is how much it's going to save you. But first, you must spend this large amount of money. The one thing to do is then to educate that customer. So doing workshops became a channel for people to understand, oh, this is the value I'm going to gain at a later stage. Should I invest here? Right? So educating the customer is quite a key thing, especially if you run these intangible services where people are not going to see it. It's easy when you sell a product because why useless into a right? But when you've got a service, people want to know what is the additional value that they're going to gain from it. So write down your channels, write down how you are actually reaching out to customers and where they can find you. The last block on the market side looks at the revenues. So you're selling different types of products and services, list them as different revenue streams. So that when you say, you can say, this particular product brings me the most amount of money. At some point in the business, you might look at it and say, this particular product or service doesn't bring us any revenue. Should we still keep it? Actually, let me cancel it. Or it only exists twice in a year. Beginning of the year and at the end of the year. Between that, we don't actually invest in selling this product or service. We know that at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, we'll make a boom. But for the rest of the year, this is not the product or service we're focusing on. So write down your separate revenue streams. Right, when we move over to the business side of things, in order for you to deliver a product or service, there's some activities you'll have to do within the business. So when that activities block is asking you, what activities must you be doing in the business in order for you to be able to produce that product or service? Then we look at resources. What machineries do you have? Do you have an office space? Do you have laptops? Do you have phones? Do you have people with very specialized skills that are working in the business for you? All of those things, write down your resources. Also make note of stuff that you don't have. Because the moment you're going to then pitch to investors, you want to be able to say, this is how I've been running my business. I've been selling this to this particular type of customer. We've got these types of resources. But in addition to that, we need resource ABC for us to then grow our customer base or to grow our team so that we can service more customers. And if you're going to have an ask like that, please be specific about the kind of amounts that you want for those kind of resources, right? And it also helps you to gauge, because in some competitions, especially if you want to raise funding, you want to take the route of pitching. When you're pitching and you get in there and they tell you that the price is only 20,000 rand, and then when out, I need machinery worth 50,000, I need a 50,000 rand investment. Already you've thrown yourself out of the pool of this thing. But you want to then come back and say, actually, there's other items that I need, it's double 10,000, 5,000. So let me pitch for that, raise the money for that, invest it, and then go get the 50,000 somewhere else. Okay. Then partnerships. And partnerships is very similar to what I was saying when you're working with corporates. Your partnerships will need some sort of value as well, right? So when you're approaching people to say, let's partner, let's collaborate on something, don't think only about what you are going to gain from them partnering with you, but you need to be able to deliver value for them too, right? It needs to be a two-way stream for you. So when you're proposing partnerships, think about the value that you're going to create for them too. An example, T has managed to partner with Visa to come and do these kind of workshops. Visa does not have the database of Kasi-based entrepreneurs that Join Us for T has. They don't have it. They don't have to spend time actually doing that because their focus is getting the Visa brand out there and financing businesses. But T has got that audience. T doesn't, well, they've been making a lot of money, but they don't always have the money to be paying for every single week to be at a different Kasi to Kasi running a workshop like this, right? So you partner with Visa and you say, hey, Visa, I've got an audience out there. They need 1, 2, 3. Can you provide it? Yeah, no, sure, we can do that. We need the funding out there to then go fund the entrepreneurs that we want to engage with. Is there a way we can partner for this? They say yes. They come out here, they introduce you to, Visa comes out here, they're introducing you to their products and services. T has got an audience that they're here, but they're servicing the community of entrepreneurs the way that they intended to. You get it? So somewhere, there must be a two-way benefit for partnerships. And you do the same thing. Find ways for partnerships to be giving you access to market. They must be giving you access to resources. They must be giving you access to financial aid as well. Then the last bit of this asks you about your costs. So where are you spending money on in order to produce your products and services? Are you reinvesting in the marketing, the rent, salaries? Where are you spending money on in order to produce your products and services? So when you get to the end of documenting your business model canvas, you've got an understanding of the products and services that you're selling, but more importantly, the value that you're creating for your customers. You have a view of how they can access that product and service. You have an understanding of which products and services are bringing in you money through the revenue streams, how much it costs you, what activities it takes to actually produce that product and service, what resources you need, as well as the partnerships that you can then engage with, or you have or you can engage with, right? So it gives you a full picture. You want to introduce a new product, you want to see if it fits into your current business model, you do the same thing for just one product, and then you put it into, you update your existing bigger picture of your business model. It allows you to think through everything that you're going to be doing around that business. So when we come to digitizing, and some of these things Bulelani spoke about, right? You want to digitize your environment so that you can automate the things that you don't need to be worrying about every single day. If you're doing the same thing over and over and it's a pattern, find a way to digitize that. Then it's taken care of. And the more that things can be taken care of while you're sleeping, the easier it is to actually manage your business because you have less anxiety around, did I do this, did I do that? If it's automated and it's done, it's done. But you also want to use the insights that you get from these tools, and we'll speak about tools just now. But you want to get the insights from these tools so that you can start saying, oh, this customer buys every month on the third week of the month. they're coming back for the same product. Okay, most of my customers only come in the first week of the month. So maybe it makes sense for me to not run a special in that first week of the month because those are guaranteed sales. But I want to catch the ones in between so that I can boost my sales. Right? What products are they buying most often? Maybe I can bundle it with a product that doesn't move so often or so quickly, and then just create a bundle sale so that Leonard's Amae is off of my shelf and I'm not keeping things in storage. You want to be able to improve the customer experience, right? And I'll tell you, I've worked with Join Us for Tea doing these kind of workshops for a few years now. Where we started to where we are now, things are completely different. Because each time we started, back then, we finished with a thing, and it's like, so, siyakhuluma, slogo siyakhuluma, yes, next. That's how it used to start, right? And then it was over the years, and then we were able to, they were able to bring in some sponsors, and then there could be pitch contests. And then when the pitch contest happens, I was like, futhi, masiphume wina nemali. Because you've adjusted, you've learned more about your customer, they want more, so you try and give them more. And it was like, okay, when we go there, they just give us cookies and tea. Now it's a full-on lunch with juice and. Because we've understood that people can't be here the whole day and be hungry and all of those kind of things. So things have improved. But the more you learn about the customer, the more value you can give, right? Bulelani is now talking about creating the community online. They've had a few years of doing things online and have putting their content out online. And from that understanding, they now know that people are engaging online. There was a time when we just said, no, man, entrepreneurs don't have time to be on social media and whatever. Until you watch how many entrepreneurs are actually online during a session like this and watching via a streaming channel. Then you're like, no, Babangwe actually want it. Then you can do the platforms online and offer resources online as well. It also improves your productivity, but more importantly, it also builds that resilience, that ability to bounce back. Because you can look at things. I was telling the guys when we were in PE last week that just the learning of having gone through a business in your first year, and then I got to December. I think I started in April, and then by the time I got to November, December, there were no sales. There was nothing. And remember, this is my first year going into the business, and I'm just like, but why is it so quiet? Does it mean what's halang and whatever? Only to realize much later that actually in November, December, entrepreneurs don't care about putting systems into their businesses. They're looking at holidays, libona, and relaxing and doing whatever. Then in January, they focus on paying school fees and whatever. Come February, they're just bringing me all these notes. Wait until business and then so. Now you've got an influx of people but that took understanding. Now when we get to November, I'm not bothered anymore. I know it happens. Now I do other activities in order to get that engagement going. I'm not expecting somebody to say, please come and implement systems for me in December. Because I now know after 10 years that it doesn't happen. Right? So this is what data allows you to do when you've got digital tools in your system, in your business rather. So some tools that are going to help you. When it comes to doing understanding of customers and understanding your sales, typical problems we have is a lot of us have got the customers, mara motho teng ke communicate le ena ka WhatsApp. And I haka save albito la gae, maybe you can have just the number there. And then you can't do any customer research. Now when I say, let's do a survey of your customers, you can't find this customer because the other one is on WhatsApp, and then the other one is on email somewhere, then the other one is on an Excel spreadsheet or whatever. So you want tools that can give you a consolidated view of who your customers are. And nowadays, there's a lot of tools that can pull in even from your WhatsApp, even from your emails and whatever, and create a contact list for you. When you don't have your customer database, you can't engage with your customers. So you can't, even if you wanted to start newsletters, now you're stuck because on the phone number fell, how the email address, right? But now you can, if you wanted to send, some of them you want to send them WhatsApp messages, maybe promos on WhatsApp, but you only have their email addresses and not their phone numbers. When you have tools like HubSpot or you have something like Zoho into your system, you can see gore mona ke na le phone number fela, I can email address. And then you can run a campaign that just says, hey, we're trying to update our customer base. Please share with us your email addresses. And people give it to us. And while you're asking that question, would you mind if we sent you monthly newsletters letting you know about our products and services? The person can opt in to sign for that newsletter. Right? Or same thing can be done with updating your WhatsApp messages, phone numbers as well. But then you also have a track of what products and services that they are buying at any given moment. So if you're running promos and stuff like that, then you're able to contact the people that are interested in that particular product. You don't have to send them newsletter and Alim product, it's a 15, when actually they're products that they're interested in, probably in a category of 3. So now you can actually just send them about those 3 products. Then also when it comes to reaching your customers, specifically around marketing. So we've got, some of us are managing multiple social media accounts. You know, something that happens on Instagram, something is different on Facebook, and something is happening on Twitter, right? If you want your messaging to be consistent, people must see the brand. So on one picture, there's your brand is there, but then on another picture, akona logo. So nobody can link the 2 brands, Hi Bonnie on Twitter and Hi Bonnie on Facebook. So you want to create a brand consistency around the colors that you're using, the logos that you're using, creating your messaging. One of my pet peeves is having to think every morning, so kitlo postang today on social media, right? You wake up and today you don't really feel like it, or you don't have content, but you can use a tool like Hootsuite and Buffer, where you can schedule your content. So maybe on one day you took a lot of pictures, and you want to use those pictures for other days to market your products and services. Here you can create a calendar airing on a Monday, re tlo bua ka product X, on Wednesday re bua ka product Y, and then Friday ke product Z. And you can schedule all of these posts in advance. You can add your videos, your hashtags. You can add links to your websites to say, well, this is where you can buy, or to your WhatsApp number so that people can buy through that, or whatever portal that you're selling from. And I'm mentioning this so that you add it in your social media so that it mustn't be a thing. People are asking, so how much, whatever. If you don't want to put the price there, make it possible for me to click and direct me to where I can see the price and pay for it immediately, and then you've closed the sale. Nah? WhatsApp even allows you now, if you do WhatsApp business, that allows you to even create a quote immediately, and I've given you my phone, my email address, and then the quote is coming to me while I'm on WhatsApp. Right? The quote is emailed to me. You've got track record that I asked for a quote. If I don't come back to you within 24 hours about buying, you can best believe you must be sending me an email that just says, oh, ma'am, you done poked me on WhatsApp. Oh, ma'am, now you got to buy. Nah? So that's what it allows you to do. Iska fella mumoyeng that conversation. So, good tools that you can use. When it comes to tracking your finances and your sales, getting that paper invoice. If you're using a booklet, please try and go digital. Because if I ask you to look at your invoice book, so how many of those are for product X? You're going to have to flip through every page of that invoice book to come and count individually of those products. But if you're using some of these tools, it shows you all your revenue streams, how much you're making from each product. They will do financial analysis on you, all the different types of bank statements, financial statements. You can have that online. And you don't, now when you go interact with your accountant, you are taking these copies and you're saying, here is what my system is telling me. What are you going to tell me? Right? And you start educating yourself as well about that financial tracking. You understand the financial habits. You understand the trends to say, okay, November, December, nothing. More, and then February up here. right? But it allows you to then automate things. You can send out the invoice, you have a tracking. If you send out a quote, I like the Wave feature for that. If you send out a quote, you can even put in automatic reminders. If you send out an invoice, you can attach automatic reminders. So if I've sent a person an invoice or a quote, within 7 days, I can put there that says every 2 days, check on this person and see if they've paid me. Every 7 days, remind them that I'm about to send a lawyer, right? And that I'm sleeping. So that thing of waking up and say, hey, mang unkolota chelete, ke tlo mo kopa jwang, out the window. I've got it. It's an automatic email. Up until I say stop sending, that person is going to getting a reminder that, hey, you didn't pay her. There's an invoice outstanding. And don't be shy to do even with corporates. No? If you're working with corporates, because people say, hey, I'm going to ruin a relationship. No, take yourself seriously. Then the last thing you want, the last aspect in your business you want to automate is your tasks and projects. So the duties that you assign to other people, who's doing what, when, you can even write the quality, the standards of delivery that you want in there. So please go take a picture. Please make sure that the product is center-fold. There is this kind of lighting. It is in a box, and this is the requirement that we have. When you're training people, when you've got people that are working for you, you can write down their job descriptions on one end, but you can also write a how-to guide, what we call a standard operations procedure guide. You can write a guide like that, and new recruit, here's your instruction manual. New person that you're hiring, here's your job description, here's your instruction manual. I need you to do something that's outside your normal work, here's your instruction manual to do the work. And some of the tools you can use for that, clicker is not working, there we go. You can use Trello, Asana, there's one called ClickUp as well. Bulelani spoke about Google Workspace. I mean, that Google Workspace, yes, it might feel like a lot of money to pay or yakama to pay, but think about the benefit of actually being able to have a team, and if somebody is off ill, somebody can pick up where they left off. Instead of, hi, no, wakula, laptop ikwezwe, and then we can't do anything because, hi, laptop ikwezwe. You know what I mean? And then now we must wait 2 days for that person to come back to the office in order for us to work. So the more online you are, the easier it is to do that. It also makes it easier to chat to each other, to collaborate with each other. I'm always wary of something like WhatsApp, and we're having work conversations on WhatsApp. And then when the person leaves the organization, you know, they disconnect the WhatsApp, and whatever they've been doing for work purposes on the WhatsApp line has gone amiss. But if you use a tool like Slack, then you are able to all stay connected on Slack, and even if that person goes away from the business, the conversations that were had on Slack still remain with you within the business. So you don't lose out on that. So you keep people accountable, and the communication is quite clear. If you're stuck on, okay, so I've been working in my business, but where do I start putting tools in there? So first, I know there's always an interest when there's that AI tools on the side, right? If you're going to adapt AI, which I do encourage you to adapt AI, so with ChatGPT, with Gemini, and a lot of the tools that I mentioned that are listed there also have got AI functionality. Take note of how you are instructing this AI to do something. Ne? It's like how Romamutu. If I'm not clear, Bulelan with a Coke ya Fanta. If go Roma ke bontlele Coke, and when I would like a 2 liter ya Coke, Maranane ke batla can. The fault is mine that you got a Coke, ya 2 liter, and not a can. Why? My instructions were not clear. AI works in the same way. If I say, go get me a Coke, it's going to give you all sorts of options of what could be. But if I say, bring me a can of Coke, yeah, 200 mils. It was a can, yeah, 200 mils of Coke. So when you're using AI, same thing. Be wary of the instructions that you're putting out there. So when it comes to then adapting these tools into your environment, and you're thinking, where do I even start? We all have a pain point. Some of us, our pain point is, I don't even know where my money is coming in, going, and whatever. Some of us, our pain point is, I don't even have an idea of what my customers look like or how to segment them or whatever. Just write down the processes that you have. How do I do this? So how do I communicate to customers? Ngola newsletter, get Facebook ads, get whatever, right? So document the different processes that you're using. Then go to whatever is your pain point. So like I said, somebody is finances, somebody is marketing, somebody is customer segmentation. Go and solve that problem first. Don't try and solve everything for your business all in once because today there's these tools and whatever. Some of them are easy to just plug and play and move on. Some of them take some learning to get used to, right? So go and do the one that gives you the biggest pain first. Solve for that, right? Find a tool that will solve for that pain point. Learn what you need to learn from that particular tool. If it's not working for you, understand why that tool is not working for you. Switch over to a different tool if you must. Right? A lot of them have got free trial periods, so you can spend 2 weeks just dedicating time to just learning the tool. If it's not working out for you, quit. Next tool, until you find the tool that works for you. Not all tools will work the same way or be as comfortable for all of us to use. Learn from it. Look at the analytics. Look at the data it gives you. The more background information it gives you about what you're doing, the better the tool is, at least in my books, because it means the fewer things you'll have to do in separate other places. Are we happiness? We're going to do this. So next time we come back to Davidton, okay, so that's it from me. I don't know if there's any questions. And I don't know if my timekeepers have decided they're going to fire me because I spoke for longer than scheduled. Any questions? Yes, no? There's a question over there. There's a question over here. Okay, then we'll come there. Hello.
Yeah, I'm Gift Ezekiel Quindi from Makilos Tech. We are kindly new in this digital industries. So our main focus is web development, computer hardware. We are joining digital marketing now. We want to help one of you guys to digitize their businesses via your Facebook, your WhatsApp. Yeah. I would like to ask on these tools, the Wave and Zero, Trello, they are all for free. They are not for maybe after creating an account, they have to go for a trial for 7 days or 30 days.
Okay, so is that your only question before I interrupt you?
Sure.
Okay. So a lot of the tools that I listed there are free, as in they've got a free version that you can use. Né? But remember, when you start using the tool for free version, a lot of it doesn't give you the other integrations to other systems. And if you need to stay on the free versions and you need to integrate, there's one called Zapier, Zapier, that allows you to connect tools that are not by default connected, or you're not paying the premium to connect them, right? So I haven't listed tools that are free and then you have to pay for. And I was intentional about that so that we're not stuck with, but Losisi Ute, I can use this, and then now Mele Nkoke on the other side. So the tool's free, and you can use that free version. If you want more sophisticated use from it, then you'll pay for the premium. Sure. There was a question here. They need the microphone more for their benefit than for ours, my guy. I'm saying they need the microphone more for their benefit than for ours. I think your voice is loud enough, but that's not, it's not relevant.
Paul?
Yeah.
Yes, I did introduce myself earlier on when the session started. about those AI productivity tools. How do we get them? Are we going to get them here on this session before it ends?
No, those are things that you can find online, and those are whole
Do we have to
category.
search them on our
Yeah, so I've given you a whole list.
Yeah.
We can't spoon feed you. I mean, I could come and sit on your lap and feed you lunch, but that's not going to gain any value, right? So I've given you that list over there. Here they've put them back on it. You can take a screenshot and stuff like that. I don't know if the guys ever share the presentations. I don't mind, but you use the tools from there. I'd only give them to you if they were paying me to give them to you, but they don't, so it's not going to happen that way. Does that answer you? Can we move to the next question? Happiness. There was a question here. Yeah.
Igama lami uThembi Mbele. I have an online store called Inono Couture.
Called what?
Inono Couture.
Inono Couture.
Yes, so Inono umuntu ozithandayo. Yeah. So I really struggle with identifying my target market clearly. So what I'm doing is I sell clothes from Shein, Zara, and my shop is more of like an outlet.
Okay.
So I also get some clothes from Mr. Price and Pep and Ackermans. So I'm really struggling to really identify my target market. I understand that when it comes to Shein side, you don't have to pay customs when you are buying from me. You don't have to pay the taxes and everything. But I'm really struggling with identifying my target market. So sometimes to a point that it makes it, my business becomes like on and off when it comes to sales. So I'm not really consistent. I think the problem is that I am really struggling to really identify my target market. Can you please give me some tips on how do I actually get to identify my target market for the type of my business? Thank you.
So when you started, who did you have in mind would be buying from you? What kind of person?
Ladies, particularly women, who love clothes that are more of like a classic of all times type of clothes. I'm not into trendy clothes, so this is why, hence, even the clothes that I get, they are not trendy, but they are nice, and they're more of like classic of all times kind of vibes.
So is it all times because the style is all times? Like, you know, bell bottom has gone through all times throughout the eras in terms of fashion. Or is it all times because it's a vintage looking style?
Yeah, it's a vintage looking style. It's more of like, you see the pants that you're wearing. I think even 5 years from now, I can rock them. So it's those clothes. I hope I make sense.
Okay, so some of the problems that we typically have, or I'll just voice some of the problems we have, is sometimes we have these classic pieces in our closets, but I don't know how to restyle them for today. But if you can show me how one outfit can have 4 different looks, you get what I'm at? Then you can dress me up from Monday to Friday with a corporate wear of the outfits that you are selling me. Some of us are stuck because this thing looks nice when Kidiboni is wearing it, but mina izongfanela. Like, you know what I mean? Offer me a styling service. Come over, either consult with the clothes that I have in my wardrobe, sell me 1 or 2 pieces from your thing to complement the stuff that I have in my wardrobe, but teach me how to style this thing so that Linda, I look as good as Kidiboni over there. I don't have to wear her exact dress, but, you know, style me that. That's the service that you're offering me. You must take the noise out of my head of what am I going to look like today, right? I've seen some fashion houses also use now, especially with the AI things, it's just I can put in clothes on one side, and then you have me as the model there, and I can choose, put the white shirt, put the pink skirt on. What does it look like? So I'm seeing it before I actually have to go try it on. Then I know, you know, and when I'm done, I just like add to cart, and I've paid for it, and it's sorted, right? But for you, think about who's this woman and what kind of problems is she going through on a day-to-day when she's trying to get ready. Then speak to that girl. Lababanye, leave them alone. Their problems are different. And then that was it. Miss Timekeeper will tell me when to hit my wrist.
We'll take the last gentleman
Okay,
there
cool.
so we can move on.
I ke batle ba nkube phela. Nna ke tshwere peace job.
Sanbonani, igama lami nguVelile wakwaNgcobo, from Extension 2 in Davidson. I run a catering company and I normally call it informal restaurant. So, daisa makota, your street food and stuff. My strongest point on my business is I'm a food stall. The biggest one that I did was the eThekwini Kota Festival, which the next one is next week, which is Josie Kota Festival in FNB. So my question in regards to that, I'm going to go back to the business model canvas, customer relationships. So how can one separate him or herself from being a personal person to the customers and being a brand? Because the struggle that I'm facing right now is that when I'm not in my house, like a kaya, to operate, no one is buying. Like I'm having a lot of stress with the people that I have ordered ukudla because I'm not around. So I would like to get an advice on how to maneuver around ukuthi when I'm not around, still the business will continue so that people or my customers will not be personally attached with me. Ukuthi mangingekho angeke bakuthenga ukudla. So that mangingekho, they can still go to the shop and buy the food. So that's the problem that I'm having. When I'm not around, business liyama.
Is there someone that you've left behind when you're not around?
Yes, there is someone that I've left behind. I had a problem about last year whereby I left someone. I went somewhere else, then I got a call, like, ukudla kwami was. And when I came back, I had to reimburse the person. Then the response was like, now ukudla kwakho kwenziwe wuwe. We knew ukuthi ukudla kwakho kwenziwe wuwe. So I'm trying to find a way ukuthi mina ngizidetach from the brand or from the business so that whenever I'm not around, the business can continue to roll. Thank you.
Get you. So if you've got, I'm going to say it's both a blessing and a curse sometimes to have people work for you, because they can't always deliver per the standards that you want to do things, right? So it's important that whoever you've left around is not just pasting the chips on and pasting the ingredients on and just saying, nah, you got ayako or whatever. If people are coming to you because you are meticulous in how every flavor in the kota is layered, now, but they must understand, if it's 11 chips that must go in the bread and 1 patty and, 1 spoon of acha, that is how you want things to be made. That's how you make it. That's how they must also make it. So there's consistency in the food and how I taste it. So it's about it today because it tasted different from when your other team person has now made it, right? You keep that consistency. Branding is also building your brand away from yourself takes people almost being like you. So you almost have to hire personalities that are like you in terms of the way that they're going to service the customer. Today, I'm meeting the friendly side of you, and then tomorrow, and whatever. But with you, it's just like, it's a whole greeting and it's a whole theatrics around it. So hire also those personalities so that they're also working in there with you. Visually, create it visually, your brand. So people mustn't just be taking in a styrofoam and then walking around, because nobody's going to know in the styrofoam, it's wagai. It's no different from the one next door, no different from the one next door, right? Put a sticker on it so that people are aware where it comes from. And when I have that look out, like, people must see on the box, on the plastic, this is the brand, and I'm excited to go eat this thing that I've just bought. And there's no show for it. Right? So those are just simple ways for you to then create that visual presence for you, that branding that separates you from all of this thing. Whenever you're at stalls, people must have, the personality must show, and the delivery of that product must also be on the same standard. We mustn't experience it differently. Cool.
So much. I would like our cameraman to take a picture of you first before I give you your gift. Ke kgopela le bethele Marang matsoho batho ba Modimo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me know if you sorted.